Hello, Namaste and hello everyone. Welcome to the inaugural session of the first edition of International Conference on Climate and Weather-related Instruments. This conference is organized by the Department of Water Resources Development Management in Technology and Kritika Kothari. I would like to invite the dignitaries. Please take your seat on the dais. Pradeep Kumar Janati. Yes. Sir. Professor Yogesh Pant, PG Lucas, sir. Professor A.K. Chaturvedi, G, Director IT. Dr. R.P. Singh, sir, Director IIS. Professor P.P. Singh, sir. Sir Ashish Pandey, Head of the Development Department. And Professor Mohit. Now, keeping up with the indication of lighting the lamps before any receive divine blessings, I kindly request all the dignitaries present on dais to please come forward to light the lamps. Sir, please.
ऑडियो इसमें लाना जरूरी है लाना जरूरी है इसमें ऑडियो लाइव सर सारे काम भैया 1 मिनट तक कैमरा भी नहीं चल रहा भैया
So much. Everyone to please rise as we pray. So please fully.
कला कौशल अभियान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान जन जीवन प्रासाद उठाकर सेतु बांध भूखंड जुड़ाकर जन जीवन प्रासाद उठा कर सेतु बांध भूखंड जुड़ाकर अंतरिक्ष में यान उड़ाकर नवयुग को देता आह्वान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान सर्जन हित जीवन नित अर्पित धरा स्वर्ग शोभा कर निर्मित सर्जन हित जीवन नित अर्पित धरा स्वर्ग शोभा कर निर्मित वैज्ञानिक युग पट में मूर्तित भू पर लाता स्वर्ण विहान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान नई प्रेरणा से दीपित मन नव स्वप्नों से हर्षित लोचन नई प्रेरणा से दीपित मन नव स्वप्नों से हर्षित लोचन नए सत्य की पुर में धड़कन ध्येय राष्ट्र जीवन कल्याण जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान हिमगिरि शृंगों से अभिनंदित गंगा जल करते कलगान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान
Start with me and this visual is present a book of art. Welcome our guest. Pradeep Kumar Jha as development.
जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान जयति जयति विद्या संस्थान हिमगिरि शृंगों से अभिनंदित गंगा जल करते
Professor A.K. Jagdare.
जयति वेद्या संस्थान जयति वेद्या संस्थान शिक्षा आदर्श
Professor
जीवन शिल्पी भूरचना
Filter control.
we welcome you.
जीवन शिल्पी भूर
I would like to request our students
किमपि
please bring the shot.
कला कौशल अभियान जय संस्थान जयति जयति वेद्या जन जी
Interesting.
more about the conference.
Thank you, Professor Director. Morning, everyone. Respected Sri Ajit Kumar Chetna, State Development Commissioner, Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Odisha and Managing Director of the Odisha State Disaster Management Authority, Professor Durgesh Pant, Second State Council for Science, R.P. Singh, Director of Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, Professor V.P. Singh, Distinguished Professor, A&M University, USA, Professor Ajit Kumar Kadavedi, Director, Rajesh Pandey, Head Department of Water Resources Development and Management, Chairman of ICCWE, all the speakers, faculties, invited guests, and delegates, and dissenters, and all those who are with us today. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to the International Conference on Climate and Weather-related Extremes, ICCWE 2022, organized by the Department of Water Resources Development and Management at the Indian Institute of Technology. This year, the Indian Institute of Technology Roorkee, the first engineering institution of India, is celebrating 175 years of its educational heritage. We are extremely honored and happy to have been able to organize the conference during this celebration time. The adverse impacts of this climate and weather-related extremes are not needed from anyone as we come across any kind of use every now and then. Whether we live in an urban area or a rural area, pathways by which these extremes or disasters can strike anytime. The hazards associated with all the well-known hydro, meteorological events such as floods, droughts, heatwaves, and cyclones pose a vulnerable human and natural systems develop a significant amount of risks. To just highlight a few statistics, flooding has accounted for climate and weather-related extremes between 95 and 2015, affecting 2.3 billion people worldwide. Cyclones were the most deadliest kind of weather-related extremes, killing more than 240,000 people in the past 21 years. That is around 40% of the global total of extremes. These have mainly reported that 76% of the weather-related disaster deaths were due to extreme temperatures, particularly heat waves. More significantly, as the IPCC recommends in its sixth assessment report, that for the ecosystems, biodiversity, and human communities, there is a real concern because of the impacts of climate change and weather variability. It has become very, very vital for us to propose sustainable pathways to minimize risk and develop appropriate levels of resilience. Now, to understand the gruesome impacts of climate change and weather variability on the human environment couple systems. We were inspired to organize the International Conference on Climate and Weather Systems this year. The event primarily focuses on three different aspects. What are the new dimensions or the latest scientific knowledge to account for the impacts of various climate and weather events? What are the significant challenges associated with modeling and capturing the risk on various climate and weather extremes? And lastly, what are the potential solutions to reduce risk and build resilience? The primary themes of the conference cover dynamics of climate and weather changes in the Anthropocene, risk management, monitoring and assessment of droughts, cyclone impacts in developing resilience, heatwaves and temperature variability, sustainable policy initiatives and governance, and lastly, strengthening local capacity for recovery from extremes. In this conference, 22 renowned scientists and experts working in the area of climate change, weather variability, water management, and disaster risk reduction will deliver the keynote addresses. We have close to 135 presentations by researchers from India and abroad, with technical sessions as well. Now, the plenary sessions will be held at this venue, that is the Multi-Activity Center, while the plenary sessions will be organized at the Department of Agricultural Development. The outcome from this conference will help design new strategies that will involve vulnerable people in the community, local levels, in planning and implementation. Practical lessons derived from this conference will be crucial to building community disaster management groups in the state and other regions in the globe. Once again, I thank everyone for the presence and I look forward to a wonderful today. Thank you very much, Jai.
Professor Mohanty. And now, before inviting our next introduction, Dr. R.P. Singh is currently serving as director of the Indian Institute of Scientific Research. Singh started his career at Space Application Center, Space Research Ahmedabad, and prior to joining IIRS, serving as the group director, Space Application Center. He was the principal investigator of the thermal infrared spectrometer instrument, leading the team of scientists for scientific analysis of data from the Mars orbital mission, India Mars mission. The recipient of the prestigious R. of the Indian Society of Neuroscience. This brief introduction, I would like to Singh to please share a few words with us.
Thank you for the introduction. Respected Professor Davis, Pradeep Kumar Jain, all the learned participants. Thankful for the organizers. Share my views today. As got told in my account that I belong to ISRO. We all know that ISRO is known for making satellites, rockets, but remember, it is mostly for trying to solve the society change and important aspect. Takes care in devising that instrument form So, and not only this, even the talk about the Indian scenario. But we think that the climate change, I mean, is something like this is still a problem, but some climate can be but who is going to come? But the climate is quite, now modern. On the other hand, sunlight is really important because nowadays we use the water, we need the global warming market. For that, we need it. Important aspect is the climate is very important. It is a very important one going around. So at least for 1 million to 5 years, data is significant. Absolutely, that's a bias, but that can be corrected. But it is really, that's why many are the problems. Sharing predicting or otherwise, by simply found that there was a big rain or any was it not even found as it's looking too long because it is rain. That is still really sharing how to predict it. How to come down and it is to be further you have to develop system, you have to have it confidence on the slide, you have to put radar, something you have to work on in and that is the problem. Without something to same time, the identification of the ground network, the modeling, so these are big challenges before we come. Big solution. 5% life can do no problem. Problem and understanding operation, because we have to understand the problem, complexity the problem, and the collective understanding of possibilities will come out. So, when the seminar, I think, the on regulation, I see some of the papers, groups are doing of the summit is making a policy.
Professor Hamid, the elders, doctors, pioneers of computer science in the state of Uttarakhand. He's credited with establishing the Department of Computer Science of Command University. He has more than 31 years of teaching and research experience in medicine, his experience in working with and advising the government. His study and invite facilitator is enlighten us with your words.
In these it's to be display the numerous numbers. So if I will do this, probably certifications in the ask them to them enormous thing. So, and what I mean, very, very, this, and the guys, there's so, from so, by the time I speak, this allotted 5 minutes, something. This beautiful planet of ours, how it is about 100 hectares of this soil that we have. Half species almost species. And the kind of water we have, and they will be declining in this category. And furthermore, the air quality is going to be simple. So overall, all different sense, maybe GDP that we say economy, but ecologically for certain, they will be about this climate and the extremes, because we are extreme of the extremes, and therefore the need is consequence of this. This is one thing. Scenario number 2, while coming to this side now, I was just stating games were telescope. And these are the planets that we are exploring, saying, and we also feel down that we can become very specific. So basically, this kind of art, it's tested already, it is already, they have already replaced it. But we are exploring other projects that I mentioned. We are exploring life possibilities there. So I think that so I guess getting into language, people to use what is called idea. That while on one hand, whatever we have, on all sides, like in Sita, we are exploiting all our natural resources. And on the other hand, we just trying to explore many things. I call it some statistic. It says per year almost close to 51 billion tons of greenhouse we are giving to this planet. This is up to our all environmental exploration. Technical access to what kind of work we will begin to find. If you are future generation, so whatever you want, whatever this thing we have, soil, water, air, the forest we have, we have to get And Dr. C was talking about the extreme that happened recently. There are in this part of the Middle East. So that they do that. There was this spell of really, really big good arts. And this downfalls and tragedy and everything was, so, every this Maldives, the region of. And at the same time, 2 days back, Taiwan was hit by an earthquake of this magnitude, about 7.2 it was, and only one house collapsed, only one house. So this also shows the kind of preparedness we have, because Jena Saab is here and he's heading disaster, this mitigation management authority at Orissa. Great regards for Orissa. But the kind of preparedness is there, the kind of, that we say technological interventions. We have ISRO, we have satellite, we have all these digital technologies, all that, all these modelings. But how are we going to make use of all those technologies? So possibly science of survival happens to be one thing that should be at the core. How can we at least how can we at least save our people? Our planning, our governance, all these things are interrelated and interwoven. Because if one thing is there is one extreme is leading to some disaster, there should be mechanism in order to save our people. Because ultimately all these extremes are, geological phenomena. And this has been happening. And five already mass extinction we have, our planet Earth has already witnessed. Already five. And for sure, these things and ice age, you must have seen, many of you. So we know these phases will come and go by. But we got to be resilient. Our systems got to be resilient. We got to be in the know of, what we are really up to. So our this ecology and economy got to go hand in hand. Ecology and economy, and along with whatever technologies we are doing. So this trinity of uh, ecology, economy, technology, and that leads to this ecological sustainability that got to be achieved. Many a times I call it Himalayan intelligence. We need to have, at least in this part of the world, we need to have this intelligence. We talk about emotional intelligence, we talk about ecological intelligence. You must have already gone through Goldman's this ecological intelligence. I call it Himalayan intelligence. We got to have this basic understanding of how these mountains are behaving. These are nascent mountains. Out here, I'm referring to this part. So these are water towers, and this department, this beautiful department of Dr. Pandey, who is a friend. I always say we are the water towers, but out here we don't have water, especially out here in all these villages. So part of this entire gamut, part of this entire thing, we started, these ecology clubs, these these centers at different institutions, sensitization at the students level, college level. So that kind of all those initiatives are required. These extremes and these things also, because ultimately if these things are there, so got to be countered in some ways, because the kind of alterations we are doing, the planet Earth is doing man-made, it is anthropogenic, or that ways, while the nature is behaving in certain ways, because it has to ultimately, it has no biases. So whatever, in whatever form it is taking shape, so we got to have some understanding about it. The kind of ecological responsibilities, I always refer to these things at institutional level, individual levels, government levels. So these ecological responsibilities are very much should be in sync with these extremes and this climate related, because whatever these things are, as I have already mentioned, so these things are taking place, these things are happening. But in order to save the larger populace, how can we really sustain ourselves? Because we have ACs to freeze, and we have heaters to heat. So in this word of ours, and within the confines of a room, this is this artificial system that we have created. So somewhere, somehow, we also got to pay for it.
So if we are paying for it, then there are these extremes and we got to live with it. These were a few thoughts I had. And it's an important, very critical one, this conference is, because not only we will have views and ideas from, from experts, those who have come from all around, but at the same time, international point of view we'll have. And IIT Roorkee is a seminal institution, always a premier institution. Maybe we'll come up with something interesting, some recommendation, doable also, implementable, because government of Uttarakhand is also very seriously musing over these recommendations. They will come up with something interesting. Council of Science and Technology, Uttarakhand is always there in all such endeavors. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, we must find holistic solutions that take into account ecology, economy, and technology. Thank you for your wonderful words, sir. Next, I would like to give a brief introduction about our next speaker, Professor V.P. Singh. He is a University Distinguished Professor, a Regents Professor, and inaugural holder of Caroline and William N. Lehrer Distinguished Chair in Water Engineering at Texas A&M University. Sir has published extensively in the area of hydrology, irrigation engineering, hydraulics, entropy theory, copula theory, and climate change, with more than 1,400 refereed articles, 35 textbooks, 85 edited books, 120 book chapters, and many conference papers. Sir has received numerous awards and honors, including 3 honorary doctorates, the Wen Thi Chow Award, the Miriam Improved Irrigation Award, the Arid Lands Hydraulic Engineering Award, and he was recently elected into the National Academy of Engineering, one of the highest honors for an engineer. And we are delighted to have Professor Singh as a visiting professor at the Water Resources Development and Management Department. With this, sir, I invite you to please share your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much, Kritika. Professor A.K. Chaturvedi, Director at IIT Roorkee, Sri Pradeep Kumar Jain, Mr. and Managing Director, Professor Durgesh Pant, Director General, Dr. R.P. Singh, Director IRS Dehradun, Professor Ashish Pandey, Head WRTM, Professor Rohit Mahanti, Managing Secretary of the Council, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I feel deeply honored to have been given this opportunity to make a few remarks about on this occasion of International Conference on Climate and Weather-related Extremes. The conference is very timely. In fact, it could not have been more timely, keeping in view the recent disasters that we have experienced. We have witnessed extreme floods in Bangalore. We have seen extreme floods in Dehradun, extreme floods in several places in Uttarakhand, even in Rajasthan. Floods, of course, whenever they occur, they attract a lot of attention. But there are all kinds of other disasters which are sort of very slow in the making, and they have even more disastrous effects on society and social welfare. I think we frequently gather, organize conferences, make presentations, but I think it is important for us to learn what, the lessons that we can learn from occurrences of all these disasters that we are witnessing year after year. In our country, we witness scores of floods in some parts of the country. On the other hand, other parts suffer from severe drought. Now, besides floods and drought, there are other climate-related and weather-related extremes such as heat waves. And of course, this year we have witnessed extreme heat, extremely hot weather, not only in northern India, but almost all over the country, not only in India, but also in Europe, in the United States and Australia. So it looks like it is becoming a global phenomenon. Each year we see very hot weather. The next year we even hotter weather. I think something is going on. And of course, I remember when I was growing up, we learned India is the only country which witnesses 6 types of weather in 1 year. Now what I see is only hot weather, and very, very hot weather. Our monsoon season has shrunk to only a very few rainfall episodes. The winter season has shrunk to only a couple of weeks of winter weather, effectively speaking. So something actually is going on. So what I would personally like to see from this conference, the following. I think we should sit together and find out what did we learn all that is happening from our scientific and technological advances, and what are the key problems technological advances have been brought to bear on addressing social problems. Even if one person dies as a result of these weather and climate related extremes, from my perspective, even one death is just too many deaths. This simply should not happen. So what this means is that this issue of climate and weather extremes is just not an engineering issue. It's not a science and technological issue. It is much more than that. I think the solutions have to be integrated with social, economic, meteorological, cultural, population related issues. Unless we develop an integrated strategy to manage these extremes, I don't think we can move very far. Engineering and science is one dimension of what I consider the management of these extremes. That's just one dimension. But the management does not depend on science and engineering alone. It depends on other factors. And I think those factors have to be brought to bear on managing these extremes, and of course, that means that involves education, that involves communication, that involves even recovery after the disaster has taken place. There's a lot of work that has to be undertaken in terms of recovery, in terms of rehabilitation. There are all kinds of health and medical issues related to the occurrences of these disasters, which we seldom talk about. And I think this is a very important issue. And of course, besides floods and droughts, as I said, there are all kinds of other weather related extremes such as tornadoes, very high winds, heat waves, cold waves, number of frost days. All these things impact our livelihood. They impact our agriculture. They impact our ecosystems. And so that's what I would really like before the conclusion of the conference. I was just looking at the slate of presentations and the organizers. I must congratulate Professor Pandey as well as Professor Mohanty for putting together this, what I call is going to be an excellent conference. But at the conclusion of the conference, I think we must come up with something tangible. Simply organizing a conference is important, but this is not enough. I think we have to have something tangible that we can show the policymakers. We should be able to inform them a lot better so they can engage in much better decision making. So with that, I would like to wish all of you a very successful conference, and I would like to personally extend my very warm welcome to all the participants who have taken time to come here and taken time out to make presentations. So with that, wish you all the best for the next 2 days.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, there is a need to translate scientific advances into real-world socio-economic solutions. And now I would like to invite our next speaker, Professor A.K. Chaturvedi, sir, Director, IIT Roorkee. Sir received his bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees from IIT Kanpur, and he has been serving the IIT fraternity in different roles. He has served as a faculty in the Department of Electronics Engineering at IIT Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, and the Department of Electronics and Computer Engineering at IIT Roorkee. And he also held positions of Head of the Department of Electrical Engineering, Dean of Research and Development, and Deputy Director at IIT Nagpur. He's the recipient of the INSA Teacher Award, the Distinguished Teacher Award of IIT Kanpur, and the Tan Chen Tuan Fellowship of Nanyang Technical University, Singapore. He was the coordinator of the BSNL IITK Telecom Center of Excellence and a founding member of the Telecom Standards Development Society of India. He is an expert in communication theory and wireless communication technology, and he has worked on several projects in the telecom sector. With this brief introduction, I would like to invite Ms. Rekha. Please grace the event with your speech.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, both the importance of the topic as well as the importance of trying to focus pragmatic solutions. It is true that we cannot get solutions unless we understand the science behind it. But it is also true that we cannot wait for the final answer of science to come out before we start preparing and planning solutions. So both things have to go hand in hand. Science must continue. Engineering solutions must continue with whatever information we have. We know that as research progresses, mankind becomes wiser with updating the previous information or sometimes revising the earlier knowledge. And accordingly, better solutions can be. The need of the hour is that our solutions should be pragmatic. Some very easy solutions can always be proposed by even non-technical persons like me. But those may not be something that may be realistic on the ground or something that recognize whatever science of the issue is telling us. So the learned people who have come here, who have put up such a wonderful technical program, it is incumbent upon us that we use this platform and come up with solutions which do not talk about things which somebody else has to, or some other company has to do, some other entity has to do. What we can do collectively, what we can do as academics, what we can do as researchers is equally important. It is very easy to put the ball in the court of the policy planners. But do we have something that the policy planners would be comfortable with approving it or sanctioning it? We have some very easy answers in the sense that difficult questions will come. Can we explain them in easy terms? If we explain to the people who hold policy positions in terms of complex scientific terms, it will not inspire the confidence. If we want to inspire the confidence of people who sit in these positions of responsibility, we have to translate these pragmatic solutions in a language which is easy to convince, which is easy to reach the target audience. And we know that some of the solutions can be done by maybe like a state disaster management authority, or maybe ISRO, or maybe a state government, or maybe a district authority, maybe a national policy at the national level. But then can we segregate our recommendations that what is required at what level? What is the recommendation at what level? Can we avoid the solutions, if I may use a very direct word, preachy in nature, tend to be very preachy when we talk about others. It's a human weakness. Every one of us shares. Because it's easy to talk about what others need to do, difficult to talk about what we need. So today's event here. We need to focus on pragmatic solutions. We need to focus on holistic solutions. With these brief words, I would like to briefly mention about the occasion on which we are holding this conference. The occasion is the 175th year of IIT Roorkee. And I'm very happy that most of our departments have come forward with very pertinent academic events which carry a lot of academic value and which have attracted the audience far and wide. They've not been just about the academic events. That medium has special magnify. So I use them. And this will be used by similarly the government has also postage stamp spice. We have actually done some but at the same time, one thing that is that both teams have been specially devised with their already now property, but one is defense by structure, right? Second is establishing partnership with context. Third is establishing partnership with academic institutions. One of them, Biker be selected and we signed partnership agreements with them so that we can work together, whatever we can do. And the last is a citizen service for Roorkee citizens service app, which will make sure that the quality of life and the quality of availability of services for citizens. So I hope that by the time we culminate 25th November, the 175th year, we would have made an impact both nationally, locally. With these words, I wish the organizers that whatever effort they have put in to organize this conference, it really translates in something which is measurable, something that is very visible. Thank you.
And I hope that this conference will get new perspectives on this one. And next, we have a very important event, like the unveiling of the dumpster proceedings. So I kindly request all the dignitaries of the council, please, of the abstract proceedings of this conference. All the dignitaries. Now, continuing with the speakers, I would like to give a brief bio of our next speaker, Shri Pradeep Kumar Chinnaji. He's an Indian Administrative Service Council, that of Odisha. He has 23 years of work experience in diverse field of industry. He's well known for his spectacular and management of 1999 tenure as a collector of federal in his tenure with government. The disaster risk management program in 16 states of the country and Secretary of Energy Department in the disasters. Several measures making is the development of national is also and management state disaster management. I kindly invite you to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you. It's a privilege for me to stand here in front of all of you. And possibly I am one of the few generalists standing before this today's event. Thank you, IIT Roorkee, for giving me this opportunity. And we congratulate IIT Roorkee for their 175 years of dedication to the lesson and the world. Thank you, Monday and Mohit, for whom I am here. In fact, Mohit, I don't know what he did with my executive director, that my executive director insisted that I must attend this conference even for a brief period. My job is very simple because I will be the first speaker in the technical session. In fact, one part of my presentation is already taken care of by Dr. Singh, by Professor Chaturvedi, Professor Pant, as well as Professor Singh. So it will be easier for me to manage my talk in the technical session within that allotted time. Coming to this session, in fact, almost everything has been spoken. Weather-related extremes due to climate change has really changed the way the world is now thinking. The ecosystem, global ecosystem is severely crippled, adversely impacted because of these weather extremes. And the intensity and the frequency with which the weather-related extremes are happening, that is creating a bigger problem, much bigger problem, certainly for the scientific community, but more than that, for people like us in administration. And all of us have seen what has happened in Pakistan last year. And Bangalore, weeks before. Not only in Bangalore, a few years before, Chennai, and all the places, Hyderabad having floods, a undulated topography having so much of flood. So things are becoming pretty bad. And few new types of disasters are becoming major problems for the governments and the governance process, one of which is the urban flooding. And the other thing that we have noticed, which has been already pointed out by some of my previous speakers, disasters have no seasonality. Cyclones in Odisha, I have said, generally we used to think that, okay, July to October is our cyclone season. But then we have seen cyclones in April, cyclones in May, and cyclones also in this. Earlier we used to see lightning only during April, May, June, at best July or August. Now lightnings have been an all season event, and the death due to lightning is increasing very fast. So the other thing that has already been told, convention of monsoon is not there. Monsoon is limited to few episodic events. In fact, I was doing an analysis as ex-principal secretary of Water Resources Department in Government of Odisha for Mahanadi Basin. The whole basin, I analyzed the rainfall for 110 years, and I found that the rainfall amount has not significantly changed. against an average of about 1178 millimeter. Now the average stands at so 4 millimeter change in 110 years. So that's not a very big deal. But what is the problem is that in 1800s, 18th century, 19th century, early 19th century, Orissa was experiencing about 100 days of rainfall in this monsoon season. Now the number has fallen below 50, and sometimes it's around 50, and some years it's also below 50. What does it mean? That means in less number of days, same amount of water is going to come. That means there are situations of superflood and with long dry spells leading to super droughts also in some part of the same state in same temporal and geographic space. So this is where is the challenge. The other challenge that is what DG Uttarakhand was talking about directly. In fact, I have seen 15th of August 2019, I got a call from the leader of opposition in Odisha saying that my town is suffering. How come? Balat is a hilly, pretty small town. It's a hilly, slope is quite high. He said, no, the ground floor is almost submerged in the town. Why? What has happened? I talked to the collector and he tells me, sir, there has been 555 millimeter of rainfall in the last 24 hours and 818 millimeter of rainfall in 40 hours. So if 3/4 of the annual rainfalls happens in 2 days, which engineer can, or which hydrometeorologist can predict, which engineer can plan for saving that much water? So it's a big challenge for the hydrometeorologists as well as the engineers. Somebody says, why can't you build dams? I said, no, engineer can prepare for construct dams for accounting about 800 millimeter of rainfall in 2 days. So that means something else is required to be done. But sure, my part 2 of my second session, I would like to highlight here. As Professor Chaturvedi has said, Dr. Singh from IIRS has said, as administration, I am facing the brunt of people. People expect not many things from me. They said, why couldn't you warn that this will happen in this particular place? Or this flash flood will happen. I had a situation in 2014 where there was rainfall between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. in Similpal biosphere. And at 8 a.m., the district headquarters hospital of Mayurbhanj was ground floor was submerged. How do I intimate people? First of all, I don't have the information. So this is where we look to the scientists, technocrats, all of you. Can you give us better focus? Not before time the incident happens, so that I can learn myself, I can try to save lives, I can try to minimize the damages to governments. So this is one of the major challenge for us. And the other challenge is that this global climate change, if the global temperature rises by 4 degrees by 2050, 18% of the global economy will be lost. If it increases by 0.4 degree, then 4% of the global GDP will. So you can well imagine what the impact of these extreme weather events on economic growth, on livelihoods. I'll come to life in my session. But we are looking forward. Why I came here just to present before you my needs. You, the scientists, the technocrats, the academicians, and all the students who are our future developers. You people have to find solutions for us to give us accurate, I would not say the most accurate forecasts, with the best of forecasts that is possible, well before time, and also give us technology for developing a resilient infrastructure. Because every time an extreme happens, lot of assets, lot of infrastructure goes down the drain. And building back better within the philosophy, how do I build back better? unless I get better technologies and better technological supports available. So this is where I will stop. I hope this today's event would bring a lot of new ideas. In fact, after I saw this schedule, I asked my office to send 3 or 4 of our officers to attend because there is a lot of technical issues which are so relevant to the state disaster. And I hope my 4 colleagues who have come from Odisha would carry back all those good learnings so that I would try to incorporate some of those learnings into my disaster management services in the state. So thank you IIT Roorkee for organizing this and giving us the opportunity.
Thank you for the informative speech, sir. With this, we conclude the speeches of our guests. And now I would like to request Professor Ashish Pandey. Please schedule our guests by presenting mementos. And I invite the students to please bring the mementos. Shri Pradeep Kumar Jain, sir. Professor Durgesh Lansa. Dr. R.B.C. sir. Professor B.B. sir. Professor A.K. Chaturvedi sir. Thank you so much. Now, next, I would like to invite, please present a performance.
Honorable guests, dignitaries, speakers, faculties, researchers, and my dear friends. I'm really honored to have the opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks during the ICCWE 2022 inaugural function. Today, I take the opportunity to put all my gratitude into words. More than 150 representatives from various institutions, organizations, and universities participating in this inaugural ceremony. This is a huge success in itself. On behalf of the organizing team of ICCWE, I express my heartfelt thanks to Sri Pradeep Kumar Jain, IAS Development Commissioner cum Additional Chief Secretary to the Government of Odisha and the Managing Director of the Odisha State Disaster Management Authority. Sir, it is always inspiring to see your role and your contribution to the excellent disaster management which has carved a standalone identity for Odisha as the best equipped state to manage disasters by notable organizations around the globe. My sincere gratitude to Professor S. Panji, Director General, Uttarakhand State Council for Science and Technology, for his wonderful address. Sir, your long-term vision on efficient and long-term sustainable disaster management by using sustainable scientific technologies and applications is truly instrumental. My sincere thanks to Dr. R.B. Singh Ji, Director, Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, for his gracious presence and wonderful address, highlighting how crucial it is to quantify the impacts of climate change and weather variability on hydroclimatological natural disasters. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. V.P. Singh Ji, Distinguished Professor, Texas A&M University West. Thank you, sir, for gracing the function. Your research contributions and deep views on solving multiple water-related and disaster-related issues has been followed by an infinite group of experts around the world. We are really honored to have you during the event. I'm very much thankful to Dr. Ajit Kumar Chaturvedi, Director, IIT Roorkee. Sir, thank you very much for the excellent address and also for constantly backing up, for thinking beyond the horizon and in addressing latest global and regional issues through organizing such a kind of conference. I'd like to also thank Professor Ashish Pandey, the head of the department and chairman of the ICCWE 23, for his constant help and guidance that radiated source of energy in every one of us for organizing this event. Well, they've been truly grateful for them. An event of this dimension can really not happen overnight. The wheels start rolling months in advance. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated student committee and volunteers from the Department of Water Resources Development and Management. I really can't thank everyone enough for the involvement they have shown and the willingness they have expressed to take on the completion of tasks beyond the comfort zones. I'm very much thankful to sponsoring agencies, EST, ACRB, Sarkal the Consultancy, THI India, and ES Patients. It would have never been possible to organize the event without your support. If time is money, then you have spent billions for us during this session. Thanks to all of you for making this event successful. I have a wonderful and pleasant stay at IIT Roorkee. I hope you enjoy the two-day conference and the campus life of IIT Roorkee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Gandhi. And I would like to add my thanks and gratitude to all the dignitaries on the dais and present in the audience, all the conference participants, staff members, students, audience. Thank you everyone for your time and attention. Now I would like to invite the dignitaries and all the audience to please proceed for the tea break. And after the tea break, we have a short presentation by one of our sponsors, Debbie Amber. So please feel free to come back for the presentation after the tea break. And now please proceed for the break.